to the Director of Communications of 100K Deeds Challenge, Heidi Ko. So Heidi, now it's your turn. Go ahead with your presentation.
Heidi? I think you're on mute.
Everyone to the 100K Deeds information session. So I just welcome everyone here to this platform. Moving on to the next slide, let's get to know more about the organization itself. The 1000 Deeds Challenge is an initiative run by Immune Impact, a nonprofit organization. Immune Impact is a global community that believes in the power of Model UN to inform, inspire, and motivate its participants to action in support of Sustainable Development Goals, or as famously known as SDGs. Created by the United Nations, we have numerous student leadership teams focusing on the initiatives that Immune Impact runs to promote the SDGs, whether it be through Model UN program or something like a 10,000 Deeds Challenge that promotes action for the SDGs. Now, I would hand it over to Katie to let us know about Sustainable Development Goals in more detail.
Hi, everyone. If you're not familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals, they are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. The 17 SDGs are integrated. That is, they recognize that actions in one area will affect outcomes in others. Each Sustainable Development Goal has numerous targets that are to be achieved by 2030. The 17 goals attempt to improve everyday sphere of our world, and that's why it's essential for all of us, including the youth, to learn about SDGs and achieve them to have a more sustainable future by 2030. Next, let's watch a video.
Heidi, it's not audible.
Give me one moment, please.
Yeah. Heidi, you're there?
I'm joining in from India,
Nairobi, Kenya,
Nepal,
the Philippines,
Qatar,
Sri Lanka,
Turkmenistan,
the United Arab Emirates.
MUN Impact aims to inform, inspire, motivate students to take action through Model United Nations.
We, Immune Impact, are delighted to encourage you to take action for the SDGs by being a part of the 100K Deeds Challenge. Because each and every action counts.
Also, we create opportunities for students around the globe to come together.
And we aim to achieve these goals by developing new learning tools based on the SDGs.
In 2017, a brother-sister duo named Ambi and Bindu Subramaniam launched a pilot 10,000 Deeds campaign in India, in partnership with the UNICEF to encourage young students to perform the deeds and serve the SDGs in their schools, families, and communities.
Now, Mun Impact is building on this creative inspiration to expand the campaign to schools around the world by setting a goal of 100,000 deeds worldwide.
The 100K Deeds Challenge is for all young people aged between 2 and 22 years of schools, universities, and offices. Each one of us has the power to create a future we want and take lessons to articulate them in an even better manner.
All 17 of the SDGs seems like a massive task, but when each one of us take a step in the right direction, we can make a difference.
To help you get started, we have a wonderful brochure on the 100K Deeds website where you can gain a greater insight into what the 100K Deeds Challenge is. This will help you achieve the sustainable development goals in your community. Once you finish a deed, fill in the deed card with details about yourself and your deed to let us know about your good work.
So join the 100K Deeds Challenge because every deed counts.
لأن كل عمل له أهميته.
क्योंकि हर काम मायने रखता है.
ஏனென்றால் ஒவ்வொரு நல்ல செயலும் ஒரு நல்ல வித்தியாசத்தை ஏற்படுத்துகிறது.
Porque todas las acciones cuentan.
왜냐하면 모든 행동은 의미가 있기 때문이다.
Kwa sababu kila tendo linasaidia.
等一日他自
因为每个行动都很重要。
Okay, so am I audible? Am I audible? Askinal, am I audible?
Yes, Tushara, you are. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm facing a bit of this. Okay. Yeah, as Surakshita told the history of our challenges in 2017, Ambi and Bindu Subramaniam, they are part of the Academy of Performing Arts. They launched a pilot 10K Deeds Challenge campaign in the partnership with UNICEF. This campaign was kicked off by the Sister Duo, as the name I had told here, with a music video by the Time Sadam project. A selected number of schools in Bangalore adopted the program, where students were given a pamphlet with examples of simple ways to serve the various SDGs. Students were each given a deed card to fill out and return, describing their deed and their relevant SDG. So what is the 100K Deeds Challenge? The 100K Deeds Challenge is a youth-driven initiative run by the Mun Impact, a non-profit organization which was launched in 2017. Managed by over 150 students from around the world, including over 50 student translators working to make this challenge accessible to all. The challenge was created to raise awareness of the Sustainable Development Goals, that is the SDGs, for aspiring young peoples of schools, universities, or offices. Now, I hand over the thing to John.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So we've collaborated with ESRI, the Environmental Systems Research Institute, to develop a global deeds tracker and dashboard where you can see your deeds appear with others on a global map. This map shows the regions we've tapped, and you can see it on the screen. We've also partnered with the world's largest lesson and Voice. There's so many reasons that you should join or that you should participate in the 100K Deeds Challenge. It is such a great community, which is why I joined the leadership team in the first place. We're a community of youth that want to make a difference and inspire others to do the same. If we want to live a sustainable future for ourselves and for future generations, little habits in our everyday lives aren't necessary. These small deeds will help you get on the right path to being part of this globalized action. Plus, through our global map, you will be able to see all of the others who are doing these deeds alongside you across the globe. To me, it's very inspiring to know that there are people who might be thousands of miles away but are working towards a better future for the both of us. So we have a few deeds that we have completed that we wanted to show you all. These are sample deeds that were submitted to the map seen in the previous slide. First, we have deed number 1. SDG, or the person who filled out this card would say they supported SDG 3. And the description of the deed is that they delivered 45 kits filled with non-perishable goods, as well as other 45 COVID-19 protection kits to Fundación Infantil Semilla, which is a local foundation in Spain. Additionally, donating another 30 kits to Fundación Levántate Durango. Next, we have the second deed we're going to be sharing. The SDG it supported was number 13. And this is a description of the deed, where they were about 6 people, made a school project about not bringing plastics to school on Mondays, spoke to everyone in their school about it, and it is now, for all intents and purposes, forbidden to bring plastic to their school on Mondays. Then we have a third deed we wanted to share with y'all. It supports the SDG number 3. And the description of the deed is this person played 3 hours of field hockey, which is the equivalent of 2 full matches for a competition, and then had a session with the junior team and coached a couple of hours later about 70 kids, basically helping and give access to this junior team to learn how to play hockey. Finally, we have our fourth deed, which supported SDG 11. And this person described their deed as participating in the construction of roofs on February 1st, 2020, for those who needed them in a rural area of Egypt called Fayum. Around 12 people were volunteering to construct 25 roofs. So now I will bring it back to Sarah.
I'm pretty sure at this point, everyone will be curious about how they can take part in this challenge. So this slide is covering all of it. So in order to join the challenge, you'd first have to get on our website, and then there you could see the Get Involved tab, which should be there on our website. And then we have registration forms in more than 30 languages apart from English. The second step would be to download the toolkit of our challenge to see example deeds from each SDG to get started. And let me remind you, you're not limited to those deeds only. You can take many more extra deeds, go beyond whatever is given in the card. And then the third step is about after completion of the deeds, you have to share them through the world through our collection tool. And then you can see your deeds appear on the global map, which is the fourth step. So here you can see as how your deeds are going to appear on the global map. Next, let's see an example of a deed card, which I'm pretty sure everyone will be excited to see. So this is a visualization of what our deed card looks like. The 10,000 Deeds Challenge used a deed card similar to this, and we wanted to keep up the tradition of physically writing your deed down and sharing your deed card with others. We would encourage you to take pictures of your deed card and post it to social media and tag us at Deeds for the SDGs. When you're uploading your deed to our ESRI map, you can also add a picture of your deed card. Now giving it off to Katie, who is going to help you on how to spread this challenge.
Hi, so we have here a diagram. So as a student, how you can help spread the challenge is to first perform deeds. Second, you can let your friends, neighbors, and fellow schools and college mates know about it. So that's actually how I joined the team, is I'm on the outreach team. So I help finding organizations that can join the challenge. As a parent-teacher organization member, you can share the campaign on school, college groups, and let it reach as many students as possible. You can encourage your children or students to perform deeds or share the deeds that your organization has completed. So in the chat, we also have the collection tool link. Next slide, please. So our team is currently accepting applications to join our leadership team. There are a few different roles, like being part of an outreach team like I am. There's a translation team, press team, social media team, and so much more. We highly encourage any interested students to apply to be part of our team. We have such an amazing and supportive team, and promise that it will be a fun and interesting experience. Once you apply, you'll be notified within a week whether or not you've made it to the next stage of the process, which is the interview. If you make it onto this team, it will be a commitment until this upcoming January, when you have the option to reapply to our leadership team, as we will be reforming our team then. Next slide, please. So this is how you can contact us through different social media. To register for the challenge and to be added to our mailing list, please use the link in the chat. And to apply for our leadership position, I believe that there is also a link there. Yeah. Now I pass it on to Thush.
Yeah, okay. So now we'll be moving on to the 24-hour challenge. So to know more about it, next slide. The aim of the 24 hours challenge, the 100K Deeds challenges, 24-hour race is a movement that unites youth leaders from around the world on a mission to aid the United Nations in achieving all the 17 SDGs by 2030. Through the deeds of our own, whether it is small or large, we have the capacity to collectively create a massive impact around the world. The dates for the events are 24-hour challenge number 1, which is on 25th October, 24-hour challenge 2, that is on 27th October. So please register the same in our website and we'll be happy to see you there. Yeah, I'll pass on it to Joan.
Okay. Right. So what is the purpose of this challenge and its logistics? In teams based on the region that you're living in, you'll be submitting deeds throughout the duration of the challenge, and that link will be provided later on. The deeds should be related to SDG 15 only, which is life on land and its preservation. The first race will begin at 0 hours coordinated universal time on the day of the challenge, which is the 25th of October in 2 days, and end promptly at 23:59 coordinated universal time. The second race will begin at 0 hours UTC on the day of the challenge, which is the 27th of October, and end again promptly at 23:59 coordinated universal time. Next, I want to go over the rules of this challenge. All communication with the participants will be done through Google Chats, and if you have any queries regarding that, kindly reach out to the admins. The race begins sharply at 0 hours UTC and ends at 23:59 UTC of that day, as I said. All of the deeds submitted should be pertaining to SDG 15 only, life on land. Deeds should be submitted regularly on the 100K deed submission portal, and please include the region in your deed description. The deeds which will be submitted should have been done on the day of the challenge itself and not on any past day. Uploading a photo or a video is compulsory while uploading the deeds, and also make sure to mention the timestamp of the same. The teams are divided on the basis of the location of the participants. Now I'll pass it on to Sarah to explain how you would submit a deed.
So in order to submit our deeds, you have to go to our website, www.100kdeeds.org, which have been shared on the chat box previously, and then click on the Submit Your Deed button. You can download the full toolkit from here in order to take help of some deed suggestions collated by our team. The link has been sent in the chat box. Now you can click on the Upload a Deed button, create an account if you don't have one, and continue filling the form. In the deeds description, please fill out the region you're submitting this from so we can keep track of the teams. Uploading of photos and videos are mandatory, and you need to include the timestamp on the photos or in the description of deeds. Now giving it back to Katie and Tushara.
Yeah. So the presentation is over for now. So any questions from the audience side? I hope you have all enjoyed our presentation. So any questions from your side? Feel free to put it in the chat box or open your mic and ask us. Okay, so we have a question on the chat box. Can you give us examples of the kinds of things we can do? Yeah, okay. So for example, Lisa, I think you're asking about the deeds which we can submit, right? Okay. So yeah, I think one of us can answer. So Joan, are you going to be answering it? Or STG 15?
For life on land?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can. So I was maybe Heidi, if you can go back to the slide on deeds that have been submitted previously. It could be anything from something you do with your school to something you do on your own time as a personal endeavor. There have been people in the past who have, raised food for others who need it or built roofs and so on, right? This is all in relation to a given deed. In the case of life on land, we would be talking about animals, for example, right? Preventing extinction, and also protecting life in general, plants, animals, wildlife, and so on. So this could include creating a program within your city, or starting an initiative at your school, or something that would relate to SDG 15. It can be from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. It could simply be a small contribution that you make along with your classmates, or it could be a citywide program that you start. So don't limit yourself, but also don't think that you need to do something huge. Everything counts. Every small thing counts.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, yeah, to shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. As John told, see, don't restrict yourself to do any deed. A small deed can make a big impact. You can just, like, in the online sectors, you can conduct workshops saying that do not waste food, save the creatures on land. So something like that, if you create workshops, it will be so helpful. So next question, where can I get information about the SDG 15? You can go to our website and find them, or we'll be sending you a link in the chat box. You can, where the information about all the SDGs will be given. So I hope our team members will be having the link for the same. The same can be also be found in our, website. Yes, Sarah, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say whatever you said, that we can also find example deeds on our website. And even if you want to know more about SDG 15 in general, the internet is a huge source. You have UN websites as well. But 100K Deeds Toolkit also covers a lot of those aspects as well.
Okay, we have a question. Do we have to upload our photos or pics after performing SDG deeds? Yes, of course, Sonali. You need to, upload your photos. Then only we come to know that you have performed something really great. Yes? Question. It's been clear. So, any other questions on the chat box?
I'm also adding upon, as someone said, that what can we do to contribute to SDG 15? You can even conduct cleanup drives. You can remove 6-pack ring from the cold drink packages. You can do something as small as that, or you can do something huge as running a conservation campaign about endangered animals, about being the globe, or putting a particular emphasis on the animals that are being endangered. And if you're 40 plus, then you can start composting at home with your family and asking your neighbors and people in your community to start composting, as it's the least we can do to help our Mother Earth. So there's a lot of things that you can do, even buying houseplants as well.
Yeah, 1 second, Joan. I'll get back. Yeah, 1 second. So I've just shared the link of the site which I was talking about. Over here, you'll get information about all the SDGs. Like, click the SDG knowledge, click whatever SDG you want to be concentrating. So then you'll be able to get information and example deeds there. Thank you so much. Yes, Joan. Over to you.
I wanted to say, I was thinking about things you could do to contribute to SDG 15. Something would be, for example, creating a compost at your school, or working on the way that food in your school cafeteria is disposed of, and so on. So there's so many small things that can be done. Even just something you do yourself, starting a compost at your house or for your neighborhood. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, so we have one more question in chat box. Lisa, just a minute. How many dates we have to do? And number of dates. Sky is the limit. So, they say, right? So how, even if you minimum is one and maximum we can't say, it is up to your creativity and capacity. Yes, John, I'm right?
Of course.
Hey everyone, good morning. If I could just also share this with you. Life on land is, goes beyond, biodiversity and land issues. One particular target is 15.7, which has to do with the trafficking of flora and fauna, endangered flora and fauna. We've dropped a link in the chat, which basically outlines this entire issue. And at the end of that is a list of things that you can do particularly and specifically on this individual topic. So if you want to take a look at that as well, again, when you scroll down to the end, which I'm doing here, you will see a whole list of things that you can do. All right.
Sure.
We had another question in the chat. Somebody asked how they can join the Google chat for the 24-hour challenge and if there's a link for that. Does anyone have a link?
Right, so I'll just like to jump in with that question. So we've decided not to have a Google chat for the 24 hours challenge, but we will be sending out information about both of the 24 hours challenges through email, through Gmail itself.
When you get in touch with us, we'll be in touch with you with your registered mail ID. We'll be sending all the links and required, information for participating. So Lisa has shared the link in chat box. You can all go have a look onto it. So any more questions from your side? Thank you, Tanisha.
Are there no more questions?
All right, so if there is no question, then we can go ahead with the next presentation from Tanisha. So Tanisha will be basically talking about the composting challenge, what composting challenge is and what we're going to do there. And I also should be sharing some important links. So Tanisha, I hope that you can share your screen now.
Yes, so hello everyone, and I'll be talking about the composting challenge that will be running from the 23rd of October, that is today, till the 30th October, which is next week, Saturday, just the last day of this Global Week of Action. So the guidelines for this challenge is basically, as I said, it will run from 23rd to the 30th October. And so basically a quick introduction to composting is that it's the complete decomposition of organic waste material, such as kitchen scraps, paper, cardboard, dead leaves, and so much more. And in order to take part in this challenge, all we have to do is do some composting, either in a bin, openly based, in situ, or trench, or right in the ground composting. And to know more about composting, you can visit this YouTube link, which I'll be popping in the chat just in a couple of minutes. And you will have to share your good deed through the link that Taskinal will just put in the chat right now. Uploading of photos or videos is mandatory, and you need to include the timestamp on the video, on the videos, or in the description of the deed. So now moving on to the 150 deeds challenge that we have planned again throughout this whole Global Week of Action. where we'll be focusing on taking action for SDG 15 as a whole. And again, you'll have to share your link, share your deeds through this link in the chat. And now I'll be moving on to sharing some deeds that you could do in order to work towards SDG 15. So this is a PDF focusing on 100 ways to achieve life on land. This includes many different varieties of things that you can do, such as reducing your energy footprint, as well as your carbon footprint through composting, using local produce instead of imported, as well as collective consumption, reducing plastic packaging, water waste, washing clothes in cold water, paying attention to your water management, as well as planting trees, running cleanup campaigns, buying plants for your house, moving to a green bank, and so much more in this PDF. And the link has been shared in the chat right now. So you could use that to just have a look and decide what different actions you can take throughout this whole week of action. And now I'd just like to hand it over to Taskinal to talk more about our briefings of the upcoming events. Taskinal, if you could just kindly share.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just sharing my screen. So thank you, Tanisha, for sharing the information about this composting challenge. So now I'm just going through a brief overview of the event, what we are going to cover throughout this week. So you know that we started yesterday from 22nd to 29th October. This is our time span. So yesterday we had our opening ceremony and we featured Ms. K. Kashan Basu, who is the founding president of Green Hope Foundation. So in case you missed this event, so I'm sending a link here on chat. This is our YouTube video that we have already posted. So okay, so if you just watch this, okay, so I'm sending the link, just a second. So I'm just going to the next point is, so tomorrow, that is 24th October, we will be having our partner workshop, and our partner is Climate Cardinals. You know that MUN Impact is a youth organization, and we often set up different partnership with different youth organizations again. And tomorrow we will be covering a workshop from one of our partners, core partners, Climate Cardinals, and their theme is how to basically take actions against deforestation and biodiversity loss. And our presenter will be Nomin Resenterts. He is from Mongolia, and there he will basically try to show a brief roadmap on how to fight against the deforestation and biodiversity loss, and also show up some practical examples from his own and organization experiences as well. And then on 25th October, you know what I said, that this is one of the most important events what we will have during this whole Global Week of Action campaign. So this is our open discussion forum, and our topic is for that discussion forum is how to mobilize local communities towards the biodiversity conservation. And we've got 4 amazing people as our panelists. So I'm requesting everyone don't to miss that session. And we have Ms. Laetia Seyfarth, who is our Program Management Officer at Health and Biodiversity Department of UN Biodiversity Council. We have Ms. Rosalind Skillen, who is a BBC Young Climate reporter covering information about Northern Ireland, and also a young representative of Northern Ireland in COP26. So, okay, just a second. And we also have Ms. Milena Matos, who is a biologist and a wildlife researcher, and also Mr. Tajai Francis, who is a climate change activist and advocate. So yeah, here is Ms. Laetia Seyfarth. So she really has been talking and advocating for the successful implementation of SDGs in South, Southeast, and Eastern part of Asia, alongside the African continent, he also talks about the adaptation of the post-COVID-19 pandemic biodiversity framework and the creation of a resilient and widely accessible global health system. Ms. Melanie Matters, she basically works on scientific illustration, environmental education, forest ecology, forest management, plants, and etc., etc. And she is currently working as a postdoctoral researcher at the Wildlife Research Institute in the Department of Biology at University of Alabama. And we also have, what I said before, Ms. Rosalind Iskelen, who is a podcast host, a speaker, and climate activist from Belfast. So she will be representing as a young delegate in the upcoming COP26 conference from Northern Ireland. We also have Mr. Dojai Francis. Apart from being an environmentalist, he also works as an advocate, entrepreneur, and trailblazer. He became an investor at the age of 15 years old, likewise, in very early age, and he is currently one of the most influential leaders on LinkedIn profile. That's it. So after 25th October, on 26th October at 1500 UTC, we have our SDG sandbox session. So what the sandbox session refers to. So there you will be spending one interactive hour session that we have been inspired by the leaders and champions for the SDG. And that session will be led by one of our MN Impact student leaders. There you will have opportunity to work with other students from around the world to develop action plans that you can take back to your community. And if you feel up to the challenge, then we can pitch your plan in our dolphin pool that will be on Friday, that means on 29th October. There you can get real feedback and encouragement from our guest and keynote speaker, especially who work on biodiversity and community mobilization. And if you join at the session, at the time of beginning, our Immune Impact team lead, who will be leading that session, he will provide you every single detail of this team. And on the same day, on 26th October, at 17 UTC, we will be having a social hour session. In that session, you can, socialize with your friends or the people who will be joining there. Okay, and you can share some get-together time and get to know about each other outside, what brought them together, and hence advancing and promoting friendship, brotherhood, etc. After that, on 27th October, we will be having one amazing event, and that is on 15 UTC. It is our first student workshop, and the theme is for this climate change impacts on terrestrial ecosystems, and we will have two presenters there, Ms. Tanisha Saxena and Ms. Lunia Markari. And in that workshop, they will basically brief how climate changing issues pose a negative impacts on ourselves and the ecosystems where we live, as well as our surroundings. Yeah. And after that, on 28th October, at 1500 UTC, we will be having our second open forum, and we have selected the topic for that open forum is There is the Planet B, interrelation between technology and environment. And we will be having panelists there from our core leadership team of MN Impact, Matto, who is our Secretary General, Javier, who is also MN Impact Lead, Piper Yu, who is our TSG Southeast Asia, and all of you, because this will be really an interactive session. We'll be taking out questions from you, and we will also be asking you the questions, and you will have chance to apply it. It will be just like a group study session. So I'm waiting for this. Okay. And also on the same day, 28th October, we will be having our second sandbox session. And what I explained before, that what sandbox is like, there you can chance to pitch your plan and also present it during our dolphin pool session, and all the details will be provided before that session is started by our MN Impact team lead. And finally, on 29 October, we will be drawing conclusions to this event at 15 UTC, but there will also be another event I'll be talking about it. So our closing ceremony and dolphin pool, these two sessions we have incorporated. So what the dolphin pool session, just a brief introduction. So dolphin pool session is basically a more constructive take on the hugely popular and highly competitive Shark Tank television franchise. And we will be hosting this dolphin pool to create and innovate ideas which will be presented by teams of participants, and also focusing on a certain area covered by the SDG 15. And we have our closing ceremony guest, Mr. Crispy. Mr. Crispy is from Nigeria, and he's the founder and convener of the Green Promise Initiative Organization, GPI, which is an NGO on a passionate journey to inspire environmental change, committed to a sustainable future, and to bring a shift in environmental consciousness based on passion. And we also have Avijit K, whose work is now multifarious and who is the founder of Brooks Ecosystem Foundation, which is a non-profit foundation focusing towards building a culture of innovation, problem solving, and entrepreneurship in undeserved geographies to solve climate changing problems and local problems as well. And finally, this is our last session that will be on 29th October. It is at 1700 UTC. This is our second student presentation workshop, and the theme is carbon pricing in competitions and beyond, effectiveness of the solutions. And we will be having two presenters there. One is Miss Eleanor and another is Miss Alex Peace. So in this session, they will just be explaining two different types of carbon pricing and what effect they could have on policies in the future. Okay, so here is the ending of the whole thing. So thank you very much for listening to us. And you know that in every event, we will also explain what is going to cover there. And if there is any guideline for you, we will be, delivering it. And around 24 to 23 hours ago, before every event, you will get the link for Zoom session. That's it. If you have any question, then just write it on chat.
So thank you so much, Taskino, for that overbriefing of all of the upcoming events. And now moving on, if any of you have any questions, you can just type them in the chat or raise your hand and you'll be asked to unmute and go ahead.